Arizona's controversial immigration law takes center stage once again this week. The Supreme Court will hear arguments on SB 1070 and ultimately could decide the law's fate. Some of the law's biggest supporters and opponents will be in Washington telling very different stories about the most polarizing legislation ever signed into law in our state. They are entrenched on opposite sides of the political spectrum, and they have very different views of the successes and failures of Senate Bill 1070.
Arizona has a great story to tell, a success story.
Senate Bill 1070 is the worst piece of legislation ever introduced out of the state of Arizona.
Republican Russell Pierce authored the bill, taking a hard line on immigration. He was ousted from office in a recall election last November in what some felt was a backlash against that very stance. He remains defiant, saying the bill worked.
Because of SB 1070, Phoenix has an unprecedented low in crime, over a 30-year low in crime. Over 200,000 have voluntarily left the state of Arizona. You know, we've had an impact.
State Senator and leading Democrat Steve Gallardo says 1070 has done untold damage to the state and to families.
It has nothing to do in terms of securing the border. It has nothing to do in terms of trying to curb a broken immigration problem. What this has done has polarized our state. It has created a negative image for the state of Arizona, and I think the people of America need to know exactly the impact, the unintended consequences Senate Bill 1070 has had on Arizona.
On the day before 1070 is argued before the highest court in the land, both men will testify before a Senate committee on immigration. They will tell very different versions of Arizona's story to the nation.
We are a laughingstock, Arizona, throughout this country.
Everybody wants to they want to ignore the real elephant in the room, you know, and that is that we have had an impact.
Both men obviously have different views on what happens after the Supreme Court rules as well, sometime this summer. Win or lose, Gallardo wants the bill repealed. Pierce says despite a hard-fought battle, it actually really doesn't matter, as allies like Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio will continue to enforce immigration law. I will be in Washington this week covering it all for you, and look for live reports and updates starting tomorrow.